You don't want your business to be known for what you do. You want your business to be known for who you are. And the who immediately, the who pronoun immediately means that we're talking about culture, about people, about humanity, about human qualities, about human behavior, about emotion, things that trump logic, things that may not be obvious to people. And what I always challenge people with, especially marketing people or people who are known for making a product, is I always ask people to imagine that someone is discussing your business right now. If somebody is telling another potential client or customer about your business, how are they going to describe you? And the first word that comes out of their mouth is they're going to use the pronoun they. They are extraordinarily awesome people, or they're cool, or I love these people before talking about what you do.
Welcome to the Grow and Learn podcast, your go-to source for expertise and insights on a variety of topics: business growth, leadership, technology, personal and business finance, and more. We've curated a vast network of business experts ready to address your company's most pressing challenges. From corporate growth strategy to leadership, marketing strategy, sales strategy, branding, customer relations, technology, AI, IT security, and beyond, we connect you to the best experts for your needs. Reach out to us for more information or schedule a call at GrowNLearn.org to explore how we can support you. Today, I am speaking to an extraordinary man with lots of achievements, somebody who's really cool. He's led a very cool company, which you all know, I'm sure. It's one of the biggest brands known worldwide. He's the ex-executive of Harley Davidson, who brought the company to what it is now, known as an experience, as an overall lifestyle, rather than just a product. I'm welcoming Ken Schmidt to the show. Welcome, Ken.
Well, thank you so much for having me. I'm looking forward to this.
Yes, and I maybe did a disservice to only this short introduction, because you're
That's
also
fine.
a keynote speaker. You've done more than 1,200 keynotes, maybe even more so far. And you're a best-selling author of a book called
Make Some Noise, The Unconventional Road to Dominance.
No, thank you for helping.
Yeah, my pleasure. I better know. I better know the title of it.
Yes, true. Ken, you have a lot of topics and keynotes that you speak about, but
Yeah.
today we've decided to speak about why being known for what you do is not the best way.
It's actually not. It's the worst way.
Profitable.
Yeah. If you're looking to compete as a business, or as a person working as a business, or as a sole proprietorship, no matter what that is, the mistake businesses make, and I see it every day, and I know you do too, is businesses want to be known for what they do. We are a quality manufacturer of office furniture. We are a software development firm. We develop dental tools. And see, when that's all you're known for, and it's your fault for being known for that because that's all you've promoted or talked about, the market immediately sees you as replaceable. Because unless you're the only business in the world that's doing what you do, and that never ever happens, there's always going to be somebody else who also does what you do, but quite possibly sells their stuff, their service, for less than yours. So you've just killed your competitiveness by only making known what you do. Making yourself known for what you do renders yourself uncompetitive, because humans, that's us, we humanize everything. And what I mean by that is, if we can't attach some kind of human quality to a business, meaning we know you for who you are, absent that, we see you as a commodity, and all commodities are replaceable and ultimately not very competitive.
Okay, so does that align in any way with the marketing recommendation that you should solve, like promote yourself as solving of what problem am I solving for the customer?
No, I like to go a step above that.
Yeah.
first, because the solving the problem, the making of the product, the development of the product, the providing service, that all comes down into tactics and deliverables, which are by far the hardest things to compete with, or to compete successfully with, again, unless there's absolutely nobody else that does what you do. And what I tell anyone, and it starts at the top with businesses, but it tends to run counter to what most marketing people believe, is that you don't want your business to be known for what you do. You want your business to be known for who you are. And the who immediately, the who pronoun immediately means that we're talking about culture, about people, about humanity, about human qualities, about human behavior, about emotion, things that trump logic, things that may not be obvious to people. And what I always challenge people with, especially marketing people or people who are known for making a product, is I always ask people to imagine that someone is discussing your business right now. If somebody is telling another potential client or customer about your business, how are they going to describe you? And the first word that comes out of their mouth is they're going to use the pronoun they. They are extraordinarily awesome people, or they're cool, or I love these people, before talking about what you do. And so when somebody's thinking of your business, every association that they have of that business is a absolute perfect mirror reflection of the culture of the business. We see you for who you are and not for what you do. And if we can't see you for who you are, we know nothing about what you believe in, your values, your passion for what you're doing, your enthusiasm for what you're doing, why you're awesome, why you take such extraordinarily great care of your customers. If we don't know any of that, then we're simply going to compare you to other people that you compete against, looking for some kind of quality that prompts us to choose you. And that's typically low price.
I was just reflecting while you were speaking about a recent experience I've had. It's still aligned with what you're talking about. I had a friend of mine recommend me for a service that I neither have provided until now, nor have I promoted myself to be capable of doing this service, which was to give a presentation skills training.
Mm-hmm.
And I have never considered this in my life before. I do something completely different. And yet they perceive me this way, as somebody being able to deliver it. And I'm able to deliver it. It's just not my core service. But it's the association of the person and how they perceive me rather than clearly what I do.
Absolutely. Think of it this way. And if you were working at a big company, and say that you are, I don't know, you're in the accounting department, you're an accountant, and you're also a very good accountant. You're really good at what you do. And it's that time of year with the company when they're going to be announcing, who's getting promotions and who's getting big raises and who's getting big bonuses. And you're thinking to yourself, well, I work harder than everybody here. I'm the first one here. I put in the most hours. I have the most experience. I always do an exceptionally good job. I deserve to get that big raise and that bonus and that promotion. But see, the world doesn't work that way. You have to ask yourself, what do the people above you, the people that are going to be making that decision, what do they say about you when they're talking about you, when they're considering who, among all these employees to get that raise or get that promotion? And if all they know about you is, oh yes, Donald he's an accountant. He's a really good accountant. Well, so what? Donald, you're paid to be a good accountant. That's the least you can do. That's the very least you can do. And that's the absolute worst way to be described by people that are important to you. If you're only known for what you do, you're not competitive. Instead, listen to the language people use when they talk about who's getting promotion, who's getting a raise. I love Donald. I trust Donald. Donald's one of the coolest people I know. Donald is so smart. Donald is so bright. Now, it's not Donald as an accountant. We're now talking about Donald's human qualities, and that's what again, that's who he is, not what he does. And
Yeah.
too many people believe that the quality of their work speaks for them.
Mm.
I can just keep my head down and do good work and people will notice. Guess what? They don't notice. They expect it. That's what you're paid to do.
Makes absolute sense. And so how did it work at Harley Davidson? What did you do to change the way the company was perceived?
Well, sure. The company had a number of enormous problems and problems that a lot of other businesses I see and work with every day are walking right into. And the company was over 80 years old by the time I got involved, and that was in the mid 1980s. So, the company's 121 years old now. The company had a poor reputation after years of tremendous success. The company had not just the company's products had a poor reputation, but the business itself and everyone that was associated with the business had a not popular reputation mostly because of Hollywood movies that would depict, motorcycle people as bad or criminals. And also because for years, Harley Davidson didn't have any real competition. Nobody else was making really big bikes. That was Harley's corner of the world. Excuse me. Well, when other very, very big named, famous, very well capitalized businesses with names like Honda and BMW and that sort began doing the same things we were doing, building big heavyweight bikes that all kind of looked the same. Boom. Our competitiveness was killed overnight. So we, went from a market share of more than 90% in our main market at that time, which was the US, to less than 20%. And the harsh takeaway from that was that we weren't competing. We were marketing and we were selling and we were, promoting the business, but we were promoting the wrong thing. And what we were promoting is what we do. Look what we do. We build really great motorcycles. Aren't they awesome? Look at the engineering. Look at the design. Look at the quality and the craftsmanship. And all that was true. But the problem was the stuff that Honda was making or BMW was also extremely well made. You expect it to be. These things are expensive. We were promoting the wrong thing. And basically what we were doing by promoting and spending so much time and money telling the world about what we do, the net result of that is we were encouraging people to compare us to other companies. And when you do that, and you also happen to be the most expensive brand in the industry, you lose. So that was a problem of our own creation. When you promote what you do and talk about all your features and benefits, like everybody learned in their first marketing class, what you're basically doing is telling the world you're like everyone else, but you're also encouraging people to compare. I don't see any difference between you and the other companies that do what you do. So I'm going to see who's willing to sell me this thing for the lowest price. So we basically killed ourselves.
Now that you mentioned the marketing class, you should actually write a business case probably, because I remember in business school, we had a case for Harley Davidson.
Yeah, everybody does.
You should have been invited there actually. And
I'd have loved it.
Yeah, and as much as I remember, I mean, it was not only Harley Davidson, but a few other, like I think it was Ferrari as well. And I remember that there was the feature that was included in the business case where Ferrari, for example, would install a music player in the car that would make the sound of even more revving, because people would buy it for the sound, just like for Harley Davidson. I don't know what you guys did. I don't remember really for the product itself, but it was all about this association that people had with the revving.
Well, there's a lot to that. And so what I always do, no matter who I'm talking to, no matter where I am in the world, I like to debunk misconceptions about how a truly successful company becomes successful. And everyone, no matter where I am in the world, will say, well, Harley Davidson is successful because you have fantastic products.
Mm.
Or Harley Davidson has fantastic marketing. It's a great marketing story. And I'd say both of those things might be true, but that's not what makes the company a dominant competitor. Again, we had great products right up to the point of bankruptcy.
Yeah.
We had great marketing up until the point
What a fantastic insight you're
of
bringing.
bankruptcy. And what, so what I tell people is isn't a product story. Uh, this is a human behavior story. What we learn to tap into are drivers of human behavior, things that are common to every person on the planet. I said, if we could tap into human needs for fulfillment, for validation, for people to feel better about themselves, and we could do that as a business and individuals within a business, people will like us. They'll like us and respect us as a business, and they'll prefer us, and they will tell their friends, no, you don't need to buy a BMW or a Honda car. You need to go, talk to my friend, Dave at, Fred's Harley Davidson outside of Shreveport, because they're going to take extraordinary care. They are so awesome. They're fun. They're so easy to work with. They make everything about this, they make pleasant and awesome. And when people hear that, you notice there was no discussion. You need to get this bike because it has the most horsepower. It has the most miles per gallon. The product isn't mentioned. The product isn't, we know what it is. It's a motorcycle. We know what the company does, but now we have that very powerful differentiator that being known for the human qualities of the business, that which people talk about, and that's what drives preference. And preference is what every business wants, but it typically doesn't know how to earn.
So what did you specifically do to cater to this preference? Did you start hiring differently? Did you re-educate the existing workforce? What happened?
It required a lot of, essentially required a mindset change. And let me put it to you this way, because you mentioned the sound chips in the Ferraris making the noise. Is no matter where you go, if you see a Harley rider or a bunch of Harley riders at a red light or at a stop sign, not moving, Harley riders are revving their engines. It makes absolutely no sense. There's no reason to do it. You're not moving. Why would you be wasting gasoline doing that? And it hit me like a lightning bolt one day, because I noticed as I was watching somebody revving his engine, as I always do, that he was looking around, waiting for people to acknowledge his presence. And here's where the science kicks in, is when we rev our engine and you turn your head to look, our eyes see your eyes. And when that magic second, when we see that we're being looked at and noticed, a little dopamine is released in our brain.
Wow.
Because one of life's most inherently basic human needs has just been met. Somebody's looking at me. Somebody's noticing and reacting to me. I like that. I don't get it in my car. I don't get it when I'm walking, into a business or onto a plane. I'm just another invisible person. But for this split second, I like the way that feels. So what do? Is I pull up to the next stop sign and I do it again and again and again and again, because, and here's the magic of all this, Serena, that human beings, that's 100% of us. We will seek out and return to any source of delight in our lives, no matter how small that delight is, until it fails to delight us. And what I just did was define loyalty. We return to anything that delights us until it fails to delight us.
The same logic says the likes on Instagram and on Facebook.
You couldn't be more right there. And so the question that we ask internally at Harley Davidson, the same question every business on earth should be asking, is, what are we here to do? And of course, everybody says, we're here to sell great motorcycles and we're here to provide great service and great experience. We say, yes, we know that, but what's above that? What's the bigger, more important thing here? And the bigger and more important thing is, we're here to be a source of delight for people. If we make people feel good about themselves, make them feel part of something, fill emotional needs, which are the hardest of all human needs to meet, make people feel better about themselves, they will keep coming back. They'll come back for more, and they will tell others, because when we find something that makes us feel good, we tell our friends about it. We tell our families, we tell our coworkers. So that was the mindset shift. Let's change our focus from, talking about what we're doing and providing service, serving people, into delighting people by getting in front of people, by making them the focus of the business and that which we glorify instead of our products. The products are great. The products are beautiful. The products are attractive, but not as beautiful and attractive and awesome as the people who love them or like them or want to ride them, because the human side of the equation wins every time. You mentioned social media, and I love this. Why do so many people spend all day looking at their phones? It's because all humans are hungry for validation, to be able to talk about their favorite topic of discussion, which is always the same. Every human being has the same favorite topic of discussion, themselves, but we never get to talk about ourselves and have others react to it. But when somebody on social media puts a picture up, and sharing some experience they're having, when they see that thumb up or that like button that somebody hit, dopamine's released in the brain. Somebody's reacting to me in a positive way. I love this feeling. What do we do to any source of delight? We return to it. And that's why people can't get their face out of their phone. It's the only source of true human validation that they have. Yeah. And if I'm in the business world and I'm hearing that, I'm thinking, that is sad. It is pathetic, but it's also a spectacular opportunity. I should be running a business where we're here to be that source of validation for people, that they don't have to go to the fake virtual world to get it, where we can have rich experiences and shared, common human experience together with the people that we serve or that we hope to serve, and put a more human face on our business. Why shouldn't we?
I now actually had the recollection that I've interviewed somebody else who used to work for Harley Davidson. Can't remember neither the region nor the position, but it was somebody who told me that at some point the target customer was changed. It was not only people that are associated with the hard rock style people, but just the regular next door person that would be willing to. That's also curious about the motorcycles. Or did you cater to these sort of average neighbor style people as well?
We made a conscious decision, and that's such a great question, because we were seen as, frankly, a business that, and the term is always pandered, a term that pandered to outlaws and criminals, just completely absurd. Couldn't possibly be less steeped in reality, but there was such strong image recall in people's brains, where you mentioned Harley and they would picture some biker as a big, tough looking guy covered in tattoos with a cigar sticking out of his mouth and a big, long, bushy beard. And that was the image that stuck. And the reality and the human behavior thing is that when what we see matches what we've been led to believe, we believe stronger. So if you've been to some movies and you've seen some tough biker guys in the movies, and you see a guy ride by you who has the big beard and the jacket and the cigar sticking out, you immediately think, they're all bad people. They're all criminals. That's what I am used to seeing. What we didn't see, because we didn't notice it, was all the people riding Harleys that look, the way I do now. Look, Mr. Average, no big beard, not covered with tattoos, not like a tough. We were invisible. We were the majority of the riding community, but we were invisible because we didn't look like that. And what we, again, learned from that is that we need to put more emphasis on allowing the people who aren't in the Harley riding community to see us for who we are, which means we need to be more visible as a business, which means we put all of our marketing emphasis around and all of our marketing budget around getting in front of people, putting on events and activities that allowed people to see us for who we are. Yes, you would see uh, the stereotypical, if you will, biker types, but you'd see them standing right next to, dentists or other accountants and, attractive women and, younger people and things that people didn't expect. And then after a while, and it didn't take long, a lot of those stereotypes and misconceptions just started to fade away because everybody realized that, geez, these are the people next door. I see these people all the time. I just never paid any attention to them. We wanted to make sure people were paying attention.
Yeah. So is it the frontline personnel that you had to re-educate first? How did you approach the presentation, sort of the installment of this new perception of the company?
Yeah, there is a lot to unpack in there because this is an old business by that time. As I said, it was over 80 years old. It was a manufacturing business, very, blue collar, if you will, a lot of second and third generation workers in the manufacturing plants, just beautiful, wonderful, hardworking people that were used to doing things the way it had always been done. This is what we do. And when we talk to employees about, hey, we want to shift the mindset of the business, we want to shift the emphasis of our business to putting this more human face on what we do so that we're known for who we are, so that instead of glorifying our products, we're going to instead glorify and uplift people, ourselves, the people that we serve, that we want to serve, our dealers. And oh boy, there was tremendous resistance to that. Wait a minute. What? Yeah. What is this? This isn't what we do. We're bike builders, and this is nonsense, and it's difficult, if not impossible, to measure. People's attitudes toward, behavioral things and emotions. Were it not for tremendous buy-in and enthusiasm from the leadership running the business. And I say this in all seriousness because no effective mindset shift, no cultural improvement can happen within a business unless or until, and that's the people running the business are the ones leading the charge, right? We see a business, as a reflection of its culture, but the culture is the reflection of the attitudes and the behavior of the people running the business. So when we've got the CEOs, when we got the presidents, we've got the area managers, where we have the high-ranking people in the unions and the manufacturing facilities going out to, demonstration events and talking with people in the riding community, anybody that rides motorcycles, and asking them questions. How can we change this business to be more delightful for you? Or what would you do if you were us to delight you? What would you do if you were running this business? How could we run this business better? What do we need to change to make you like what we do better? And when employees at all levels of the business see that their leaders, and I put that in quotes, out actively engaging in conversations with customers and, putting an arm around them, or a lot of shaking hands and a lot of hugging and things, they get the message. Well, this is what we do here now. And I have to do this, because if I'm not doing it, I'm going to be seen by my fellow employees as not doing it. And it did take a while, because we, at that time, there were about 1,200 dealerships around the world. Yeah. And the people in those dealerships had been trained essentially to do two things: sell motorcycles and provide service and maintenance on those motorcycles. And again, a lot of these were second and third generation family businesses. So we would come into a Vienna, we go into Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, we go into Sydney, Australia, and say to the dealers, look, what we need to do is we need to stop selling, stop pushing the product, stop making the product the star of the show, here, because when we're using this selling language with people, it's a language that they don't understand. Most people don't, understand what every nut and bolt and piece of a motorcycle does, unless they're an engineer. But that's the way we talked, because we thought that that's what people expected of us. And all we were really doing was confusing people. Why would you speak in a language that potential customers don't understand? It makes them feel uncomfortable, or it intimidates them. Instead, it's when someone walks in the door, let's get that cup of coffee in their hand as quickly as possible. Let's put a donut in their mouth as quickly. Hey, mi casa es su casa. Make yourself at home. You're welcome here. We want you here. People immediately, their guard would come down.
May I
Now
just say something here regarding
Yeah.
because you mentioned Vienna, and as a matter of fact, the only flagship store of Harley Davidson was a bit outside of Vienna in Strasshof an der Nordbahn.
Yeah.
It just closed 2 years ago, around the time of COVID. But at that time, it was just it was located next to a very nice burger restaurant.
Mhm.
And a very nice cafe, and I think maybe they were even connected inside through corridors. So I think that people naturally would relate delight with the experience of the restaurant, and it was just like, I don't know if that's something you worked on, but I think it was very well thought of.
I was in Mississippi about 3 weeks ago, and I went to a dealership there because I needed to get a new windshield on my bike. And I saw a sign on the door, and it said, Thursday night, bike night. And I said, oh, tell me about the bike night here. And they said, oh, these are huge. There's a bar and a restaurant that are, all in this massive parking lot where the dealership happened to be located. And it's just what you spoke of, that this was a destination, not just for motorcycle people, but for people who wanted to have fun on a Thursday night. They come out, everybody's standing outside or inside the dealership, walking around, having a drink or some barbecue or whatever. A fantastic atmosphere. Obviously people are showing off their beautiful bikes, and there's displays, and people are doing some, wheelies and stunts on their bikes. And it's just this wonderful communal atmosphere where, the next day at work, when people said, guess what I did last night? I went to, bike night. I'd never been. It was awesome. They do such a great job. The food was great. It was fun. I can't wait till next week to do it again. You should come with me. You have to see this. Pow. Dealers could choose to not do that if they wanted to, obviously, but they see what happens when they do.
Yeah.
Because everyone's talking about us. People keep coming back. This is what we want.
Yeah. I back then, when it was still open, I thought this is a fantastic strategy, both for the restaurant and for Harley.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. It brings people together. And so much of what makes Harley Davidson work, and so much of the magic behind the brand, is that camaraderie, that socialization, that feeling that you have, that, I entered that environment and nobody would know me there. I don't live in Mississippi, but immediately you feel comfortable. Everybody speaks that same language, and we're all excited about bikes. We all love what we're seeing. And when you have that like-minded, gathering of like-minded people, you can just kind of feel everyone's passion and enthusiasm rising. Yeah. Like it's a good feeling. It's like being at a sporting event and cheering on your team, and your team is winning. It feels great. Well, in this environment, kind of everybody's winning, and nobody feels like a stranger.
How does it work for, it's like a completely different topic now, not completely different, but kind of out of the product and of Harley Davidson in particular. How does it work for service-related businesses?
Sure. I get that all the time. People will say, oh, well, I can understand why things like that work for Harley, because, Harley's cool. And we sell back-end software, or we service copy machines. Yeah. So we're not cool, and we don't do that. And I'll always tell people to go, notice the whole time I've never been talking about how the product or what the business does is the competitive lever. It's we choose to do business with people that we like. period. I mean, given the choice. And if we don't like anybody, then we just go to Google or Amazon and find whoever's willing to provide that service for the lowest amount of money. And I tell people that if you're going to put a more human face on the business, that requires effort. That requires everyone working within the business. Think of those first points of contact at a business. And a lot of time that's a phone number, or a lot of times that's an email or a text. The attitude, the energy that employee shows is going to determine in less than a second how that person feels about your business. Now, when you call a business and somebody answers the phone saying, Acme Ball Bearing, please hold.
Yeah.
What? I have to hold already? I know everything I need to know about this business. They're very tactical. They're busy. They didn't train their phone people very well. There's no human connection there whatsoever. The easiest thing in the world for humans to show is passion. It's the most magnetically attractive human trait. It comes through in your voice. This person likes what she's doing right now. I like this. Person asks you, hey, what are your plans for the weekend? And you say, well, why are they asking me that? Don't even know me. You're going to answer the question. That was one of our amazing discoveries at Harley is 100% of people, when you ask them a question, will answer the question. Oh, I'm going to go, hiking in the mountains or something. You say, oh, that's so cool. I wish you'd tell me more about that. The person will keep talking for a few. So now you're just having a nice, pleasant conversation that doesn't have anything to do with business. And so we all have this belief that everyone out there, everyone that we could ever serve or hope to serve or bring into our business is super busy. Everyone's too busy to have a conversation. Everyone wants efficiency. Everyone wants speed. Everyone wants to get their answers very quickly. Well, no, we don't. We just expect it because that's how things kind of work in business. But when someone shows an active interest in us and someone's asking us questions about ourselves, ooh, we like that. So we answer the question. It's very human to be friendly, and we notice it immediately. But too many businesses, the overwhelming majority of businesses, look past that. I'm here to serve. I'm here to take your order. I'm here to answer your question. That mentality is what kills business.
I have actually observed this approach a few times when people start asking me personal questions, and it really depends. I would say it's not always a successful approach because sometimes it looks artificial. You can read behind the lines. It's scripted, and they've been told to ask you personal questions.
Oh yeah, when that there's no substitute for being genuine. And it can absolutely, to your point, be read or be heard or seen a mile away. Like when you call customer service and you're getting somebody that just by their dialect is from another country that's 2,000 miles away, and you're having trouble understanding them, but they're clearly reading a script. No, that doesn't work. It's getting into the mindset of the people that are talking with the customer facing people. You are not here to serve. You are here to be a source of delight for people. You're going to serve them anyway. Be delightful first. And that's just friendly tonality. That's putting the person first. A gentleman in Lithuania, of all places, told me something that I never forgot, because we were talking about what we're talking about right now is how do we establish humanity as a business, or as business people, or as people having this. How do I start a discussion with somebody, a potential client, without lapsing into a discussion about my business? And he summed it up brilliantly. And he goes, always focus on being interested instead of interesting. And that's because the interested person is asking questions of the other person. They're showing an active interest in them. And we all notice immediately when someone's interested in us, because when we're being interesting, what we tend to be doing is talking about our business. Here's what we do. And here's what makes us, here's what makes us special. Here's why our product is better than everybody else's. All the kind of nonsense that you've heard a million times before in your life. All we want people to do is just slow down for a second. That customer, that potential customer, and just notice that they're being treated a little bit differently. And they will notice 100% of the time that they like that. They prefer that because we're just not used to it. And if we notice it the first time and it happens again the second and third time we're in contact with this business, we begin to understand what this business is about. You don't have to simply sell people. You don't have to simply answer their questions. That kills demand. They pay for that. That's the same conversation they've already had 100 times this week. In the business world, people who buy for a living, corporate purchasing people who are hiring people to fix the coffee machines, fix the copy machines, sell the software, provide the paper, to do all of that. That's all they do is buy. And think how many times they've been told exactly what they expected to hear. Here's what we can send you. Here's when you get it. Here's what it'll cost. Pal, there's no loyalty being engendered there. There's no humanity there. There's nothing to remember. So that if a person at the business next door was to ask that purchasing person, hey, who do you buy your landscaping services from? There's a really good chance that she's not going to remember. Oh, I don't know. It's the same people we've always used. One of 1,000 transactions that I have every month. Nothing to remember. Nope, that's total lack of humanity.
Now I understand the beginning of our conversation when you said that it's much more compelling to be a consultant than a speaker, because when you're a consultant, people ask you questions. When you're a speaker, people expect you to tell them things. How you made the full circle.
It is a lovely circle because typically, I'll come in and I'll speak somewhere, 45 minutes an hour, and then business leaders will come up and say, hey, how could we do this at my company? And then then the consulting hat goes on.
Fantastic. And how can people reach you? Is there anything else, first of all, that you want to share?
Oh, well, obviously people can go to my website, which is called kenspeaks.com. And if they're so inclined, you can see some videos of me talking about various topics about human behavior and how to trip these triggers of behavior to make ourselves and our business more attractive. You can always find me on LinkedIn. Ask me questions there. I answer every question I've ever been asked. You can email me, ken@kenspeaks.com. You can listen to my podcast, which is called Tailgating with Geniuses. Sit down and talk with extraordinarily bright and successful people from all walks of life. Those are the easiest ways, or just, look for me out in the street somewhere. Always out riding bikes.
Very cool. Well, thank you very much for this conversation. It was eye-opening. I really enjoyed it.
Well, thank you. So did I.
Thank you for listening to Grow and Learn. We hope that you found our podcast informative, engaging, and inspiring. Our mission is to help you keep growing and learning, and we hope that our conversations and insights have provided you with practical advice and useful perspectives. If you're looking for personalized support and guidance to help you achieve your personal or professional growth objectives, I offer a range of services to help. As a trusted management partner and mentor, I work with businesses in the process of transformation, looking for new streams of business, as well as M&A. With an extensive professional network of experts and mentors, I can bring on board the right person or team based on the specific needs of the company I'm working with. To learn more about the services I offer and how I can help you achieve your goals, visit my website at GrowNLearn.org. You can also reach out to me via email or social media. I'd love to hear from you. And if you enjoyed this episode of Grow and Learn, please subscribe to our podcast and leave us a review. Your feedback is important to us, and it helps us to continue to create content that is relevant and valuable to our listeners. Thanks again for listening, and we look forward to sharing more insights and perspectives with you in the future.